Welcome to the Mastering Academy on Air. Hope you're doing good. It's me again, Farzi. Wait a second, I have to, today in English, I have to open up our side so I can see you guys. So, hope you're doing well. Today we are like to talk about several things. I hope there will be a lot of people here because today it's about question and answering. So it's a Q&A session. Today I won't show something in practical terms. So you beautiful people, hope you are in. I cannot see anybody yet. Hope you can hear me clearly. Sound must be good. Yes, I'm here, I'm on air. So let's start the clock. Yeah. So I'm waiting on questions. See if someone joins in. Falk is here. Yeah, I'm so brown. Ich bin echt braun geworden. You're right. I'm playing soccer all the time, so that's why with my beautiful children outside, and that's why I have a little small soccer team, 7 and 8 years old, and yeah, that's why I'm outside all the time, and so I'm so really brown. Yeah. Hope you're doing good, Falk. Thomas, what's up? What kind of question are there? Every question. Thomas, just ask a question and see. Let's see what happens then. Thomas Stemmler asked what kind of question is allowed. Also in German? Yeah, sure, why not? I will answer it in German and then in English too. Ja, kein Problem, mein Lieber. Hau mal raus. Ja, kommt der Daumen hoch. Falk, so viel wie du reist, müsstest du doch jetzt auch schon braun sein. Mein Lieber. My dear Falk. Ja. So, you beautiful people, tell me something. Ask something. Fragt. It will be German and English as well. I will do my best. I'm fine, absolutely bien. Läuft und hält braun werden. Yeah, okay, yeah, gotcha. The air conditioning is helping him. So, ist schon das Pro-Mixing Online-Coaching. Wie geht es jetzt weiter? Yeah, if you have the Pro-Mixing Online-Coaching, then if you start with the Pro-Mixing Online-Coaching, it's how you want. You will join the actual coaching session, and then we will show you how to mix, basically. That's what you might do. Are you in the preparation, Thomas, or are you in the pro mixing? Or did you finish it? Because if you finished it, then the next thing would be mastering, basically. Yeah, schon fertig. Yeah, makes sense. So first of all, I have two questions. First of all, let me answer Thomas' question. Yeah, the next thing would be, das nächste wäre dann die Mastering-Vorbereitung. Und dann geht es in das Mastering, Pro-Mastering-Coaching, wenn du dich dafür angemeldet hast. Das wäre das Prinzip. And it's, you know, we always say, like, mixing and mastering works together. So, if you're a good mixing engineer, you understand what you need to do in order to prepare your stuff right for the mastering engineer, or better said, to make your mix mastering ready. And if you're a better mastering engineer, you basically know how to make your stuff ready, because you know the side when you get like not mastering ready mixes. So that's basically the thing. So the second question is, inwieweit schätzt du 3D für Hörbücher? The question is basically, how do I think 3D and Dolby Atmos, Sony 3D, and so forth will be on. Wait a second, I have to find the term for Hörbücher. It's basically nothing else than, books that you can listen to, basically. And I think it really depends on how the market is giving you the cheap opportunity to buy yourself, for instance, a soundbar, which is basically nothing else than making it happen for you to listen to in your environment in 3D. Is it Dolby Atmos? Probably not. It's not the right experience, but it will get you in the ballpark. And on the other hand, you have everything that Apple makes right now, especially the headphones that will be like really, I would say, Dolby Atmos ready and sound really nice. It will be a binaural basically. So could be something that makes sense. Yeah, especially when you have a story that you tell, for instance, the Harry Potter stuff, then all of a sudden the sounds and everything that is included in that might be interesting, depending on how you put it. But now I think it will take a lot of time. Not a lot, but it will take a lot of time till people can afford those things and till it's on the market and works properly and stuff. So that's that. Hearbook, yeah, thank you. That's what I'm sorry, I have to learn English now. What is it? Let me find another question. What is that? Yeah, that's Thomas. Okay. Yeah, I love you too, Rays. Thank you so much, man. Thank you for the nice mix and the master that you provided. Sounds ridiculously nice. Hi, how is the MS effective in mastering? MS is, in mastering, sometimes you have a problem somewhere. Let me, for instance, make an example so you can grab it better. Let's say you have harshness in the 4K area, which you can't get rid of with dynamic EQ, with de-essers, with EQ, with static EQ even. You want to be able to treat the sum and the difference probably differently. For instance, if you have reverb and delay and everything in the mix, which contains still sibilance, you can just address it in the difference without harming the sum information. That means that the sum information will stay intact and will sound aggressive and will sound nice, but it's not overly hyped, because if you reduce the sibilance and the difference, then all of a sudden the problem is gone, or the problem is diminished in that way that it makes sense. No, we're still working on the Dolby Atmos stuff. The studio is finished though. Studio looks and sounds ridiculous. And we had a big guy here, a really big guy, a Grammy guy here. Am I allowed to say that? I don't give a damn. I say it. Yeah, but I cannot say his name, I think. So, audiobook. Yeah, audiobook, Falk. Yeah, I think it might be interesting. I hope it answers your question, because I have to really get familiar with this thing. Then we're back to the 70s. Yeah, you're right. Very different than a mastering is. So other tools and plugins. Just show what you were implying. So what did you say here? How's the effect is in mastering? Yeah, it is. Mixing engine is very different than a mastering is. So the tools and plugins. Just show what you were implying. Frank, yeah, it is different. So basically, mastering is much more homeopathic than mixing. That's totally right what you're saying. But the tools are the same. The tools are not that different. You use compressors, you use EQ, you use saturators, you use clippers. It's not different. It's the way you use it. That's from my point of view, the way to see it, because I'm doing mixing and mastering as well. And I use the same tools, but I use it differently. Have that answered your question, man? Magnus, hey Magnus, how are you, man? Hope you're doing well. Looking forward for our one-on-one. Will be amazing. Yeah, if you want to join the one-on-one sessions with me, for instance, then holla at us, and then we can have one-on-one session, you and me and nobody else in this beautiful room listening to some music, and I'm showing you mixing or mastering. What is the sampling rate for Apple Music 24-bit and Spotify? Can you 60 for Apple? Yes, you can. Or 48 for Spotify music. I think I don't know if Spotify accepts 48. I don't think so. 44.1, but Apple, sure. 96 is high res. Yes, you can give 96, no problem. 24-bit, and you know the sample rate and the bit depth, it really depends on if the platform is able to use it, basically. So if the aggregator, for instance, is not allowed to, like, you just have one aggregator which will send it to everything else. Besides that, you need, I would say, a label which is has the power to send different masterings. Otherwise, it will be still 16-bit for online distribution, 44.1. Some people accept 24-bit. CD Baby is still 16-bit from my point of view. Yeah. And for video, 48 kilohertz for video. Yes, that's right. That makes sense. Why not mentioning him? Okay, thanks. Who? The guy who was in the Dolby Atmos room. Because I want to make it special. That's why. We're learning from him. The internet says that 48 kilohertz works on Spotify. I have to verify that. For Spotify, we mostly give 44.1. This is what we do. Online distribution most of the times goes in 44.1, not 48. It depends on the aggregator that you put it on. And if they want 44.1 files, then 48 is not supported, basically. Hi, Farzi. Somewhat. Yeah, Gert, what's up, man? I couldn't resist. I wanted to try your beer, but I'm not drinking alcohol at the moment. Yeah, at the moment. So we will see what happens. Yeah. So 48 kilohertz, yeah. I have to check it out. I have to probably talk to Tony and see what he says. But I will answer that for you. We will see us in the mastering. Stefan, is that Stefan Fleming? Because when it is Stefan Fleming, we will see you on the mastering and you will have a good time. Next time, mate. Yeah. Definitely. Next time we will do that. So ask some other questions, guys. Yeah, Elusia Party. Yes, definitely. I will. Yeah, yes. I will answer it on Monday then. I have to find it out. This is really specific. I'm not quite aware of 48 for Spotify, but I think, why shouldn't they? Why shouldn't they, actually? I'm currently struggling with cymbal bleed in toms. When cymbal bleed, quite extreme. Replacing the tom the best solution, or any black magic trick for that? Yeah, that's a good question though. Magnus asked, cymbal bleed in toms. So basically cymbals have a different frequency than toms, especially when it comes to the, I would say cymbals don't have lower mids. You might address that with an EQ, you might address that with a gate, you might even, from my point of view, the easiest way might be use something like Slate Trigger to like trigger another sample, you know, which is pure, or trigger another sample on the one hand with that sample you have, and choose a relation between the new sample and the sample that you have to have a more natural feeling, so it's not that dry. Work in hybrid. You start mastering Chait -18 LUFS or mixing Y going up to -12 or -10 when you lower it to -18 when mastering analog. No, I don't go to -18 LUFS. God, -18 is, you have to find it depends on the gear, and it depends really on the headroom of your converters It's a little bit different. But you might say that you work with line level. Yeah, makes sense. So it's minus 18 RMS, yeah. Yeah, because LUFS is it's not about loudness. LUFS is loudness. And the line level doesn't care about loudness. So you need RMS, basically. So what I mean by that is minus 18 RMS equals 0 VU in most cases. Yeah, but it really depends, because the higher the headroom, the more you can give. So let's put it that way. My Lyra, for instance, is 18 dBu equals 0 dB full scale plus 18 dBu. And then you can calculate what plus 14 means. It's minus 14 dBFS or RMS, call it that way. See, it's not always the thing, and it really depends on the gear that you use. Some gear needs to be you need to treat some gear like really, I would say, pleasant and really nice, and don't overdo it because it starts to distort depending on the headroom, and some gear really needs a little bit of gain. So it really depends. So wait a second, I'm using Oxford Drumgate and live recorded drums. Yeah, works very good. Yeah, I would say so. No problem with tom cymbal bleed. Yes, I would say so. While recording, it's the best way to do that. Masterings, ich muss ja immer nur runter auf 8-Bit. Friedemann Lin Dither haut da aber voll krass Rauschen rein. Andere Dither-Plugins machen das nicht. Ist das überhaupt sinnvoll? Yeah, you have the, you know, if you use dither, there was a question of 8-bit dithering. You have, what is it called? I'm so sorry, guys. I have to like answer 20 different questions at a time. Jumping from one topic to the other I have to open it up to tell you properly. Wait a second. So, boom, let me just find it real quick that I say what I'm talking about. Come on, open it up, open it up. Yeah. You can find everything, but if you like look for something, sometimes it takes hours. Google is your friend. So, images. I'm talking about noise shaping. That was the term I was searching for. So it depends on the noise shaping. But there are other dither plugins. They have different shapes of noises, so you might try different ones. Isotope has a really good one. There's the Mbit Dither, Mbit Plus. PSP Audioware has an amazing one. It's the X Dither. Good Hertz has a nice dither, which I love. It's called Good Dither. Some of my dear colleagues use that one. The Lin Dither is amazing from my point of view, but if it adds too much noise, you have to find a different noise shape. Start the chain in minus anti. So why mixing louder than that? Why mixing louder than minus 18? You mean what's the point? Because then you lower the gain? It really depends on what you're aiming for, my brother. You can't say it that way. Because it's minus 18 RMS, that means it's the average of the music. It's the part that makes most of the loudness, although RMS, you have to be careful because it's not K-weighted. There's a heavy bass going on. And if you don't make it loud enough, will get surprises. That's the problem, because it's always a thing about peak to average ratio. That's what you want to have. So minus 18 RMS is not your ballpark to work with it when it comes to deliver a nice mix. You know, you could say peak to short-term ratio, and the loudest part is something. That's what we call crest factor. And that's a totally different thing, because you want to get to zero. That's what we always say. And that totally makes sense, because you get surprises otherwise. You know? And if you have that, you could normalize it, yeah, sure. But that's a different thing. Normalizing mean like the highest peaks to put it somewhere, but it doesn't change the relation between the music. Highest peaks to the average, or peak to short-term ratio, better said. This is the modern way. People call it peak to loudness ratio. Peak to RMS ratio, you kind of call whatever you want, you know, highest peak minus RMS. And there are some numbers that work really good in some cases. So no, you cannot say that. Sorry. As for the mastering tools, there are different techniques and tools in mixing or tracking. Seriously, a mastering engineer is different to a mixing engineer. People specialize. I don't believe that one guy is good on everything. That's why there is a different people. A good vocal or a guitar, he most likely won't be a good mix or the spot for everything. Certainly would track, mix, and master project, not even if there's a budget problem. What are your thoughts on this? No, this is your opinion, and it's totally fine and totally true, but that's not reality, basically. For instance, take Tony. He does everything in one session. He writes it, he produces it, he mixes it, and he masters it. And the people who know Tony know how his sound is. You can check him out, Tony Jukebox, and then you understand what I'm talking about. You can be good in all things, sure. Do I mean with that you shouldn't ask someone else with fresh ears to listen to your music? That's something different. That's totally different. But you, on the other hand, might argue that you worked on your music all the time, produced it, mixed it, for instance, or even don't mix it. The mixing engineer has a totally different vision, makes it totally different, doesn't sound the same way, and then you give it to a mastering engineer and he has a totally different opinion as well, and then you get it back. This is what we hear all the time from students. That's the reality. And all of a sudden it's not your music anymore. Because the technician, the mastering engineer, the quality guy said, oh, you have to low cut everything. It's at like 30 hertz. It's too boomy down there. You know, just as an example. That's my thought. Highly adjustable, so maybe Falk might want a different setting. That's Oliver. Thank you so much, my brother. This is Mr. Mascherati. Thank you so much. That's what I would suggest as well. The noise shape. Sure, that's what I'm doing, but sometimes I have the feeling it makes no sense to dither with 8-bit. From where? It makes sense, sure, you're truncating otherwise. If you're not dithering it. You might argue that it might make no sense to dither from 32-bit float to 24-bit. But that's different. Yeah, Tony is here in the house. I think he might say something to Frank. Yeah, I am using also DrumKit. Yeah, that's what we had. Yeah. Elaborate on correcting pre or post ring with EQ. Phase in the mastering stage, plugins, process, rules. Could you a little bit elaborate on correcting pre or post ringing? Post ringing to correct it? Okay, let's address it that way. Let's first of all go to post ringing. In most cases, post ringing is something that a minimal phase EQ does. Basically, an EQ that is made after the sense of an analog EQ. So let's put it that way. And post ringing most of the times is not hearable because if you treat the EQ right, basically. Maybe you can hear it, but in most cases it's not. Like mostly it's not, because the fact that the signal comes and the ringing follows that signal, when the signal hits you for a period of time, your ears are deaf, so you might not hear it. Pre-ring, on the other hand, which is the side effect of using linear phase EQs, especially if you overdo it, like go with steep low cuts and high cuts, like narrow cuts and narrow boosts. There are some rules about that, how you might argue to use them well. This is scientific, you can show that. Where the pre-ring is always going down, the more nicer you treat music with a linear phase EQ. For instance, use first order low cuts. That's something. Use wider bells, you know, with a small Q and not with a high Q. Use cutting rather boosting. work on higher frequencies, for instance, because it's so fast that you won't hear the pre-ringing. On longer wavelength, like on bass and on sub frequencies, you really can hear it if you overdo it. So really steep cuts are problematic. This is the rule of thumb, basically. But getting rid of them it's imparted in the sound, you know? And you probably might, I don't think that you can get rid of them. It's in the sound. So pre-ringing most of the time sound like a sucking effect that makes things hollow, you know? But this can be a thing of pre-ringing combined with phase issues. So, although if you have pre-ringing, you use a linear phase EQ, so you won't get any phase issues. So both can relate to each other, not with the same device, but maybe someone had like big boosts and stuff with a minimal phase EQ. So that is the phase problems that I was referring to. So that's that. Let me see. As for the mastering tools, there are different techniques and tools and mixing or tracking. Yeah, it is. Yeah, Frank. I hope that answered the question, though. I think it's yeah. Anyways, I don't hear it. Ahoy, Vincent Price. From 88.1 kilohertz, I don't hear it. What don't you hear? I recall a video from you where you had an uncompact punch from a transient dum-dum instead of one strong dum. Didn't fully get what you have done there. Best Volker. Video from you where you had an uncompact punch from the transient. Do you mean using a minimal phase EQ to delay the bass? Do you mean that? That's like really complicated. I forgot which one you mean. I don't get the Mr. Volker, the dum-dum instead of a strong dum. Or do you mean when the top end and the sub frequencies appear at the same time? That's why we use an orange EQ in most cases. Orange EQ is a linear phase EQ. And you might argue, why? You said don't do steep cuts and stuff like that. Yeah, but orange is different. It's a different technology. It's made for that. Forward, backward technology, basically. Nothing else that the Vice EQ, it comes from the Vice EQ. Library of Audio Engineering, give me some props. Thank you so much. Tony must be a freak, seriously. I will always pick the right engineer for what is required. You otherwise too close to the musical is not all about techniques. No, Frank, I didn't say that. And I don't say that you must be a freak or something. I totally get what you're saying. If you have the ability to do that, try to be professional in one thing. I totally get what you're saying. But that doesn't mean that it's not possible. That's the only thing that I'm saying, you know? Because most of the times people, if you're working for labels, you know what they say? They say, okay, write a song. It has to sound like Happy from Pharrell Williams. And you say, yeah, sure. I go to the toilet and then all of a sudden Happy comes out, you know, or Michael Jackson Thriller. Yeah, sure. I write it in a second or something. That's what they want from you. That's reality. And the second thing they say is that produce it like it is Thriller. And then they say mix it like it is Thriller, and then in the final stage they say master it like it's Thriller. And the A&R is sitting there, and if it doesn't sound mastered, you know, so you're in the, I would say, situation that you have to deliver everything. So you have to get to know everything, and then, learn it from the ground up, and it will take you higher. What would happen if you stick a jam sandwich to the speaker of my amplifier, turn the music to maximum volume? I think that the speaker might say, jam, it ain't too much, it ain't, ain't too much for me. That's what the speaker would say. And the amplifier's way. Hi Fuzzy, when you insert mastering output, one analog level do you use? Do you use plus 4 dBu? Yes, line level. Or do you go higher? It really depends. Simon, have, from my point of view, I would go higher in some cases. But you know what mastering engineers say? It's a hard. Yeah, that was a good one, right? I'm getting warm right now. The mastering engineers choose their weapon of choice, basically. That's what's happening. So they buy this EQ with this headroom and this sound with operation, op amps and transformers and so forth, or transformerless. And they have their arsenal. And all of a sudden they think, okay, that EQ doesn't match with this compressor. And all of a sudden it's an impedance problem or something else. It doesn't match the headroom. And it really depends on your gear. But let's pretend you're just using a really nice compressor and a really nice EQ. I would probably try both. Go a little bit hotter and go a little bit softer, because you don't ever forget that. Take an SSL console for instance. If you drive the operation amplifiers hotter and the view meters are stuck, basically, you get that nice analog saturation that we all love. And sometimes, if you use a Varimu compressor, for instance, it really depends on the Varimu design. You can say the Manley does the same thing like the PureMu does, or the Varus, the HCL Varus, for instance, or the Thermionic Culture Phoenix Mastering, you know. You can say that. It really depends on your workflow. You have to listen to the gear and see how it sounds. If it's too distorted, I would go lesser than that. My chain is mainly Varimu, Buzz Audio. Yeah, I think you. And Buzz Audio DB. See, okay, that was my clock. Yeah, beautiful chain, I would say. Thank you so much. Buzz sounds ridiculous. Buzz Audio stuff is amazing. So you have a DBC. That means that it's the diode bridge compressor in a mastering scenario, and you have Manley. And the Manley really depends on what tubes are you using. Is it the T-bar mod or is it not? Oh yeah, now the nerd comes into play. Thank you, you hit me with the right tone. Pink waving. Yeah, always have the feeling the Manley does not get enough level. Yeah. You're probably right. You're probably right, yeah. That might be the thing. That's why the funny thing is that's why a console is really neat to have. And you can get a passive console as well. It doesn't matter, you know, where you have gain before and gain after to just really get going with your gear and see what makes sense. But like I had the Buzz, I never used the DBC, but I know how a diode bridge compressor sounds because I had the, for 3 years I was using them regularly, the BAE 10 DCFs. And this is basically the same design if you want so the diode bridge compressor, like the Neve 33609. And it, yeah, I would say diode bridge compressor doesn't like too much gain. A Varimu really depends on the design and on the topology that you have. Yeah. And the Buzz, the Rec 2.2 operation amplifiers might be working with a little bit more gain, you know. You know what you might do? I give you a hint. Try it that way. Go a little bit harder in the whole chain, make a pass, like record it, go a little bit softer, find the probably the amplitude, the dB that you go in, or the LU, call it whatever you want, like let's say minus 14 dBFS, and then minus 18, minus 16, something like that, and then compare them loudness compensated and see which one sounds better, which one is more dense, which one sounds like it's finished, which one is too loose, you know. That could be a good thing to do. I always have the feeling that, yeah, I get you with that one. That's why, yeah. The Manley is a nice thing, you know, but there are other Varimu compressors, I think, in this chain might work. So if you can get your hands on a Kniff PureMu, then you're very welcome to buy it. I'm telling you. Or get yourself a Solmu, my brother. This is the solid state version. I have bought myself one, and this is the compressor to go for. This is crazy, this thing. Studio Oxford drum gate is one of the best. Currently, the problem I have is the nasty replacing tom using trigger, as Fuzzy said, is probably the only solution. Yeah, that's works really good. Not only Trigger has that from Steven Slate, Addictive Drums had also a trigger plugin which works flawless, and the phase relations are so good if you like have your sample that you replace, like the new sample with the old one, and then have a good degree of them, so it still sounds natural. Because too perfect is like, you know what I'm talking about, Magnus. Music lives with unperfect situation. Yes, no. Hi. Crystal, yeah, Faza, do you use early reflection reverbs on certain sounds in a mix? When and why? If I want to have more depth in the sound, then I use it to make it more natural. That's why I use early reflection. Because if a sound is too dry, it sounds unnatural. On vocals, for instance, is a really good thing, as one of the neat tricks, to just use early reflections. What I like to use it on, like overheads, I really adore it. On drums, I really like it as one of the neat things to do. Sidechain option. It is the sidechain option thing. Yeah, but and now, what is your suggestion for a console? Oh, you want to have a console. So my suggestion would be you get, I always argue with Freedom, and he says the console he has, and I don't want to bash any companies because this is live, you know, says is the best, and I say my console is the best. I have a suggestion. If you want to have a really amazing console, then this one is amazing. This one is ridiculous. And I'm not just saying that because they endorsed me and I love them to death and I have things from them. They sound ridiculous because of the high headroom. It really depends what you buy, but you know, be careful. Farsi, be careful. That's what I wanted to say. Another suggestion is the Dutch Audio. They do amazing consoles from my point of view. Everything is in there, mid-side. Everything that you need is in there. Its parallel processing is in there. Flipping is in there. Sounds ridiculous, like true to the source. Basically not coloring the sound at all. And the other one that I really like is, if you can get your hands on, is the Masterlek MTC-1X. That is what I use. And I love it to death. I would never give it out of my hands. This is something that I like. Hello from... Yeah, hello! Hello from Russia, man. Hope you're doing fine. Oh, man. Nice. And Magnus, good for you. Have some cymbals at less than 5 centimeters from the tom. It's still fine, but maybe I'll add a very hard-hitting drummer. Yeah. Werewolf, that makes sense. Those sounds you mentioned don't even need to be mastered. They are just right from the go. The only thing needs level due to the loudness war. The song shines the way it was captured when the songs are recorded a bit easier and the really need mastering. Yeah, but that's the thing, you know. To makes totally sense what you're saying, Frank. But that is the thing. I don't ever have the rule to say I fix it in a mixing or I fix it in a mastering. That's a problem we have nowadays. People throw everything in there and say, okay, the mixing engineer is going to fix it. Can you make me sound like Travis Scott? No, I can't, because you're a woman. And Travis Scott is a man, basically. So you have to really be careful. It's not that easy. I personally had master tracks sound worse than pre-mastering. Yeah, thank you, Frank. Love you. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying to you. Because people think, you know, I got this term, I had to do something. No. If you don't have to do something, then everything is fine. There is an urban legend that I always can throw those things away because I'm trying to listen to everything that I can get to. You know, I love Justin Timberlake to death, one of my idols, and I love, oh God. I'm sorry, guys. It was a long day. I love Pharrell Williams to death. And there is an urban legend that Pharrell mixed one of the Justin songs on a Neve console, 88, what's it called? 88R? Yeah, I think so. And after mixing it on that console, they sent it to the mastering engineer, and the mastering engineer couldn't do anything for it. And made it worse, so they released the mixed version. Isn't it crazy? It don't need mastering. So that's basically what you're saying. Yeah, I'm with you. Where is Tony? What's Tony's link or contact? Yeah, I don't have it on my, wait a second. Just holler at him at like Tony minus, wait a second. I have to do 10 million things at a time. I'm sorry, guys. Tony, because it's so small here. I have to find another way to answer your questions. Tony at mastering-academy.de. Boom. There you go. Just send him an email, brother, and you're good to go. So that's that. Thanks. I accidentally talked to the guy from Moptown. He had a Dutch now Mass Select. Dutch is probably more affordable. Yes, it is, my brother. And the Mass Select, I think you cannot get that, you know, the Mass Select. If you pay me 1 million euros, I might give you mine. I'm just kidding. Yeah, you have to get it out of my dead cold hands. Something like that. Yeah, but the Dutch is amazing. You will love it. So what is that? Also mentioned you even need to be mastered there just right from the go. Yeah, that was that. Yeah, I have to go back and forth and stuff. I'm sorry, guys. So that's not Thomas, right? No, yeah, it's Thomas, yeah, but our Thomas. There are a lot of Thomases. We have Taib Thomas as well, but Thomas is his last name and not his first name. Yeah. Yeah, let me just... Oh, doing more things, you know, several things at a time is so problematic. I'm telling you guys. They say, yeah, it's Tony at mastering-academy.de is right. I'm sorry. I had to just verify it for a second. That's not Thomas, right? The boss. Yeah, you could call him the boss. He will call himself the boss. Yeah. I'm the one who brings him water, if you want to say it that way. But our boss, basically, the CEO is Friedemann Tischmeier. That's the CEO, yeah. Yeah, do you guys have any... Know him well? Yeah, nice. For now I had the thought to buy an external converter, which I could set to a higher output, because in the moment the monitor controller would be affected by a higher output. Do you have any suggestions? Yeah, Ziad! Oh wow! Nice, man, to see you here. I should send you our Pulsar modular one. Farzad, yes, you have to. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm sorry, Simon. I don't want to interrupt you. I'm really glad to see Ziad here. That's nice. This is the genius from Pulsar Modular. People who are not aware of those things, you know. P42 Climax on every project. The P11 Abyss on every project is like, you have to try it out. It's massive. Yeah. Hi at Ziad Zidavi. Yes, I would say so as well. Ich kann es auch auf Deutsch. Ja, Simon, ist kein Problem. No problem. You want to buy an external converter for what? For AD or DA? You said more headroom, so DA probably. Any suggestions that I have? For DA, definitely RME. ADI, wait a second. I don't know which one you're using right now. Wait a second. RME, ADI. Yeah, it's so it's crazy how it's called though. You're welcome. You're very welcome, Ziad. Really glad you're here. RME ADI 2/4 Pro SE. This one I would suggest for DA. The DA is ridiculous. The AD is ridiculous as well. As clean as it can be for the price. It's, you know, it's Mytek style. I don't know if you're aware of the Mytek converters, which sounded ridiculous. You've received one of my messages today. Restream chat. Yes, baby. That's good. Maybe I use one for conversion. You mean for the mastering conversion? Yeah, I would suggest that. Always. It really depends. What are you having now, right now? You can basically book a one-on-one consultation with me. Make a little bit commercial if you want to, and then we can talk about your gear. Fireways Ender 2 really great. Yes, Fireways 800. It doesn't matter, you know. The thing is, it will always put like their ADDA converters, which are made for mastering and for other things, are a little bit a step up. You know what we are talking about. We're talking about percentages here, 2-3%. We're not talking about night and day, because the RME converters sound ridiculously nice. They're on the clean side of life, if you want to say it that way. Yeah. But yeah, holla at me, that would be nice. Fireface 800 and a 400. Yeah, oh sorry, I didn't see your, because I was so intrigued by the congratulations you received 100 messages today. That's what I wanted to say. So what is that? Oh, I can use Twitter, isn't it crazy? Nice. Yeah, it will still be an upgrade though, because with the ADI 2 Pro and ADI 2/4 Pro SE Special Edition, you can basically change the sound of the DA and AD by implying this beautiful EQ they provide. So make it a little bit warmer and stuff like that. So in mastering, it will be an amazing thing. Just think that way. If you have a Buzz Rack EQ, you know what I'm talking about, 8,000 euro EQ, then you shouldn't fight with the conversion. You should get a good converter. Pristine converter. From my point of view, the ADI 2 Pro outperforms the normal converters, because that is just for, consumer, and the other one is the pro level thing. But I'm totally with you on that regard, Vincent, my dear brother. I love you. The converters are decent. They sound amazing from the get-go. And I don't want to, I never would suggest any fancy converters, because I think it's more reliability is a good thing. And I think in mastering, the converters have to be as clean as possible. It really depends on your way of working. Some people use the converter, the AD side especially, for the sound. Just take Jason Joshua, for instance. Everything he does in mixing is implying a Lavery Gold at the AD stage, for clipping and different other tracks, for harmonic distortion and stuff like that. And so it sometimes makes sense. So love Mytek. I have their Liberty. Yeah, Oliver, I'm with you on that regard. Mytek is amazing. Bang for buck. It's crazy. Yeah, the Liberty 2 is ridiculous. And they had the 8 times 196 converters. No, 92. 192 converters. And they sounded ridiculous for the price range. How can I practice mixing if I don't have the appropriate job? I've been stuck at my level. Yeah, the White Lee Beats. What a nice guy. Makes sense. Yeah. How can I practice that? I would say get yourself a reference mix and try to get as much stems or tracks as possible. There is a site on the, I think, Cambridge campus, from my point of view, where you can download several mixing stuff. Also, what's it called? Plugin Alliance has a lot of stems and tracks available. And they have the full mix, and so you can mix how you like and then see if it compares to the full mix. Maybe you do it better. We did it as a competition in our mixing seminar once, because the people were a little bit bored, and then all of a sudden we said, okay, you know what? Let's have a really great session. Everybody is mixing the same track. And then all of a sudden it was interesting, because 11 mixers, 11 different visions, basically. So I have 3 kids, no Lavery Gold. Yeah, Simon, I have 2. So yeah, I'm with you on that regard. And I wouldn't suggest the Lavery Gold. Everybody who says it sounds clean doesn't have ears. I'm sorry to say that. It shouldn't sound cocky. People who know me know I'm cocky on this place. The Cevita even has a color. And I'm working constantly with other mastering engineers, talking to them about stuff. For instance, Thomas Feilner, Soundation Studios here. Hi, Thomas. I wanted to say your name because I adore this guy. And he is an amazing mastering engineer. And he has a Lavery Gold as well. So he has basically both. Lavery Gold and Army. ADI 2 Pro. I think it's the FS Black Edition. With the AKM chips. the new ADI, which I recommend to you, have the Sabre chips. Sabre. I don't know if it's called Sabre. It's my German English. Just have it for now. I have to think in German, then in Persian, then in African, and then go back to English. So yeah, bear with me on this space. No kids. Yeah, soon Trinnov Nova. Yes, I'm really happy for you, my brother. This is a game changer. Yeah, this is what I would do. Yeah, you're very welcome, Whiteley Beats. Yeah, sorry to confirm, Tony is not Freedom Man. No, it's not. No, Tony is not Freedom Man. I was just joking with you. Tony is not Freedom Man. Tony is one of our coaches, one of our dear coaches, which he's working with me on the Crow stuff, for instance, and the other guys we are doing. We're really privileged. Yeah. Have you heard the works of our masters from Russia? No, never, my brother. And that's a pity, though. Is that Whiteley Beats? You were from Russia, is that right? Wait a second, let me scroll back up. I think so. Hey, Ali Z Music, what's up, man? Hope you're doing fine. Yeah, Pulsar Modular shirt for me. I said it, I think, already. I'm just replying all the time the same thing. Wait a second, I think. Is that right? Whiteley Beats, you were from Russia, right? I never heard. Okay. Wouldn't mind getting then Tony to do a mastering of a track. Is that possible? Sure. You can send me one as well. No problem. Send us your tracks. We will do that for you. Whiteley Beats. Yeah. No. I'm sorry, Whiteley Beats. I'm sorry, my man. We never heard Russian songs. That's I think, I don't want to go too deep into the political stuff, but I love Russian music as well, and it sounds so beautiful. I know that you one time won the, I don't know if it's one time, the European Song Contest. ESC, yeah, is it called that way? I think so. And yeah, and there was I think the beat was from Timbaland, wasn't it? That was crazy. Yeah. Harasho. Ah, nice. Chris von Bloom is like, I'm okay, thanks, yeah. We are too? What do you mean we are too? Okay, wouldn't mind to get Tony to is that possible? We are too? Sorry, there is a small language barrier. No problem. No, they're not playing. I'd be very interested. Don't worry. Send it to us. Me too. I would be interested to hear stuff that is mastered. Maybe you can give us some titles that will bring the people. Need an address. Yeah, that was the Frank. That was the address that I sent to you. Tony at mastering-academy.de. Just send him an email and yeah, bother him all the time. Like send him emails all the time, like scam and everything. Yeah. Are you from Armenia, Mr. Kerastian? It sounds like that. Because my best friend is an Armenian guy. Yeah, nice. The family is, yeah, nice. Yeah, the name suggests something like that. Yeah, I wasn't sure. Nice. Yeah, my best friend is from Armenia. So that was spotted. Yeah, that's, the more you are into different cultures and, yeah, want to get familiar with other human beings in different countries and stuff, the more you get into those things like understanding names and where they come from and stuff like that. And I think we have to do it more. Sorry, I didn't want to get too political. I said it already. So, you beautiful people, I think it's over. The time is over. The time is up. Yeah, I will. I will write it down. Thank you so much, man. He makes Kendrick Lamar. Oh, what? I have to get that. Konstantin Matafonov, Russian mastering engineer. He mixed Kendrick Lamar Money Trees. Kendrick Lamar Money Trees. I have it in my head. I will listen to it, man. We will see us next time. Yeah, nice. So guys, it was a pleasure. I hope I could answer some of your questions. It was a little bit weird to see it like so small on the screen. I have to find something else and to jump like back and forth from the different questions and stuff like that, and find the right answers immediately, because I have to get too familiar with that. But we will do that. I think the Q&As every 4th week. Next week I will find something other in the topic to show you, for instance, how to relax your limiter on the output when mastering. That would be something really great. If you have another idea, write it in the comments below. What do you want to see from us? Like, bash us with all your comments. That would make us like have the opportunity to get bigger and give you content like nobody will. Yeah, sounded a little bit cocky, but yeah, I cannot offer you more than the truth. So guys, have a nice one. Was a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me, for not letting me talk to a mirror or a screen or the wall, so I could talk to some people, and that was really nice. Thank you, Mark. And your mastering academy. Yeah, Daniel, then holler at us. Then go on your go on the website. Everything is on there. Daniel, do that for me, man. Just write me your stuff here in the. You're very welcome, Simon. If you have other questions, just holler at me. My address is, wait a second, Farzad at, for the people who want to have specific questions, at mastering-academy. Boom. Just holler at me, guys. If you still want to have stuff and have, topics that we might address in the practical terms, or even when questioning stuff. Yeah, the limiter tutorial will be nice. That's next week, you guys. Okay? Have a nice one. I have to go back to my babies. And love you dearly. Thank you so much for coming in. And as a big guy always said that I really adore, one of my idols, I love you all. Boom. I'm out.